I was a really big fan of Woody in college when he was at USC. Thought he was really elusive, really crafty. And I thought he did a good job, since those days in that Lincoln Riley offense. And I thought today we kind of used him in that light, spread him out, gave him some familiarity, running the ball and some plays that he's ran before. And he's a very dynamic pass catcher. But yeah, he did great.
Texans get their first win of the season, headlining Weekend Warriors, as prophesized, obviously, before the season. Will be leading a segment. Woody Marks was 17 for 69 and a touchdown, 4 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown, Matthew. It seems like this is his backfield now. Yeah,
look, we talked about this last week. We've talked about this for a while, about how, that Nick Chubb was not back to being a full Chubb. He's more of like kind of a semi-Chubb, and that, we were excited about Woody. Yeah, about a full Woody, a young Woody.
Yes,
a lot of people out there prefer a young Woody, an explosive Woody, than a semi-Chubb. And of course, we're talking about Nick Chubb and Woody Marks here. Those of you who are pure of heart would understand that. Season high 21 touches here after 14 touches in the first 3 games. But the thing we talked about all last week was in terms of and why Woody Marks was on the love list this week and why Nick Chubb was not. Woody Marks had 1 less snap than Nick Chubb last week. And so we were like, look, Woody Marks is the Woody Marks era is coming, and I believe it is now here. 18% target share, saw the team's only red zone target for an offense that has seemed for much of the year moribund and dead. Woody Marks gave a spark as well. They're at Baltimore next week, and so that's a pretty good matchup. We will talk more about Woody Marks tomorrow, but I don't think this is a fluke.
Yep, good use of the word moribund. Very appropriate for a sophisticated restaurant chat where we are at the moment. 2 guys just want to quickly mention and pay them their dues. Kenneth Gainwell and DK Metcalf were both phenomenal. Gainwell goes 19 for 99, 2 touchdowns, gives you some pass game usage as well. DK goes 5 of 5 for 126 and a touchdown. Both great. I'd sell it a little bit because DK only had the 5 catches, and with Kenneth Gainwell, Jalen Warren will return.
Yeah, DK had the 1 big catch, which is great, and that's part of his game, but that's what made that particular day. It was a Dublin game. Hopefully you were up early enough to see that Jalen Warren was a surprise and active and had the guts to start Kenneth Gainwell, who we talked about. We talked about Kenneth Gainwell in the preseason. You will be amazed at how much Kenneth Gainwell plays. They love him here. This is why Caleb Johnson was on the hate list. It's why Kenneth Gainwell was on the others receiving votes in my preseason love-hate. All that said, to your point, they're on a bye this week. So the Steelers are on a bye this week, and Jalen Warren should be back. I don't mind in a deeper league grabbing Kenneth Gainwell, but you've seen his best game of the year. One guy who you saw his best game of the year so far, but I'm not convinced it's the best game we're going to see from him, is Quinshon Judkins, who absolutely looks the part of a true lead down back. Season high in touches and target share in this game, 25 touches, 12% target share. His touches have increased every single week as he continues to get more and more familiar with this Browns offense. Back-to-back weeks with 16 or more fantasy points, and now he gets the Minnesota Vikings, who Kenneth Gainwell just ran all over at home. I think Judkins is a low-end RB1 the rest of the season. Yeah,
I think he's in the same kind of tier as Genty and Hampton, I think, is in terms of the elite runner. He got 21 carries for 82 yards in a game they got blown out. He's just getting usage.
Rest of the year, who would you want, Derrick Henry or Quinshon Judkins?
It's a great question. I'd rather have Quinshon Judkins, but it's very close. Just because of the Lamar injury concerns as well.
Which is the same. But by the way, you have Judkins. I have Henry on my team. I was going to offer you a trade on air if you went the other way with that answer.
I think you have Drake May.
I do have Drake May.
Drake May is a positive spot for your team because he was awesome, and his game lends itself very well to fantasy production. He goes with 3 carries for 11 yards and a touchdown, and then super efficient through the air as well.
He's been a really good fit for what Josh McDaniels wants to do on offense. He's had at least 19 fantasy points in 3 or 4 games this year. He's using his legs. He rushed for a touchdown in this one. Again, didn't have a ton of rushing yards, only 11, but again, the scramble for the touchdown around the left side, just sort of showed you the ability he has, and they're getting other guys involved. A very efficient day. 14-17, 203 passing yards. He plays at Buffalo next week, which I think it's going to continue. It should be, hopefully. By the way, that game on NBC and Peacock Sunday Night Football, I am a company man. Drake May is a low-end QB1.
Yep.
Right? One of the few bright spots of my team and others as well.
Yep. Let's run through Sunday Scaries, starting off with the guy who's come to define this segment, Calvin Ridley. Just another week of doing nothing. Should he be on rosters?
No. Yep. What did Cam Warren said? Keeping it a buck, we ass.
Yeah.
I believe that was the quote. I'm paraphrasing, but I think that's fairly accurate. And by the way, Cam, you are correct.
Yes.
The Titans offense is, in fact, ass. 13% target share for Calvin Ridley, just 3 targets. That was his fewest in the last 17 games. Like, they haven't been on the same page, but at least he was getting somewhat of the volume. He's not even getting the volume anymore. Under 10 fantasy points in every single game this year. If you saw him on the waiver wire, would you pick him up in any league?
No.
Exactly. Yeah, next week, we'll talk tomorrow, but welcome to Dumpsville, Calvin Ridley. Tough game for Juwan Johnson, a favorite of this show. We love him, but his first game with below 20% this season, 0 red zone targets for the first time this game, and a game in which the Saints offense actually looked pretty good, and Spencer Rattler looked good. I think he got banged up a little bit in this game. I'm not really worried about Juwan Johnson going forward.
He should be okay. A bit worried about Juwan Jennings. The fact that he gets banged up every week. He goes 2 of 4 for 24 yards, gets absolutely crunched. Some doubt about his availability for Thursday night. Have to track that from health's perspective. Also, Brock Purdy's banged up again. Ricky Pearsall's banged up again.
With a toe. It's a short week. They're on the road to Los Angeles, just down the state, but still just down the freeway. But it's like a 4 or 5 hour drive. But still, you're nervous about this. 11% target share is lowest since week 15. I think we have to, this Jaguars defense is better than they get credit for, Jay.
I think so, and that could also be a problem for Trevor Lawrence, who's the last name on our list, where the idea was that there's going to be a bad defense and Trevor Lawrence is going to be airing it out all the time. Well, he's not playing well, and the defense is giving him game scripts where he doesn't have to do that much.
Under 12 fantasy points in 3 or 4 games this season. The other thing is, the 2 arguments for Trevor Lawrence was, he's got BTJ, the addition of Travis Hunter, this pass first guru in Liam Cohen, and also, they're going to be bad on defense. And we're chucking a ton. He gets you a little bit of points with his legs. He isn't. He's averaging 8 rushing yards per game. They're not using his legs. He doesn't look good.
No.
And the defense has played a lot better than people expected. So, he's QB 22 heading into Monday Night Football. I can't imagine in a 1-quarterback league rostering him. And to me, he's merely, at this point, a QB 3, like a backup quarterback in a 2-quarterback league. I don't even know that you're starting him in Superflex if you can avoid it.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotorWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.